Enforcement tactics. We are going to break down what is at stake.
Plus, Saturday's Bears game was wild, but the real action happened right before kickoff. We're going to tell you what Roger Goodell saw that day. This is such a big story.
Okay, and taking a live look outside this morning. Say goodbye to the meek and mild. Big changes are underway when it comes to the forecast.
All right, we'll be staying tuned for that in just a moment. Good morning to you. Happy Tuesday. I'm Natalie Bumke.
I'm Anthony Ponce. Good morning, everybody. Let's head straight over to Mike Kaplan to figure out what changes we're talking about here and when they're going to happen.
Today's going to be warmer than it was yesterday. Yay! And then we start to get colder for several days in a row. It's going to look more like winter around here, especially as we head into the weekend. But out there right now, pretty pleasant. We have temperatures for the most part that are way above freezing. At O'Hare, in fact, it's 40 degrees. It is cloudy. We have a south-southwest wind at 14. Wind chill is 32. I think today we're going to top out in the low 50s, 40 degrees at 9. Some spots will be even warmer than that. 47 at noon, becoming partly sunny. Breezy and mild at 4 o'clock. There's your high, 52 degrees. A little bit of cloud cover out there right now, but the cloudiness is going to be scattering out here in just a little bit. Gabriella Primus standing by with a 6 a.m. traffic update.
And you know what, Mike? Still at 6 a.m., same as 5:30. I don't really have much to talk about, so let's take a look at some traffic cameras. Where traffic is getting a little more heavy in some of these spots. I-55 near Schmidt Road, everyone taking their inbound trip on the Stevenson. I-88 at the Tri-State as they make it their way likely over to the Eisenhower. And then, of course, on the Bishop Ford at Stony Island, where we do typically see things start to back up a bit. That's a first spot on our map. All right, 20 minutes once you get to the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Byrne interchange. 25 as well on the Stevenson and on the Eisenhower. Same on the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, Gabby, thank you. There was a push to improve safety on the CTA after this string of violent crimes.
One group is trying to do their part to keep passengers safe. Roseanne Taya is live with the latest on their efforts. Roseanne?
That's right. These violence interrupters say they've received special training, and that will help them to add an extra layer of protection for CTA riders who are pretty wary over all of these recent incidents on the trains. So the group gathered at State and Lake last night, and they boarded a train about 9 p.m., a Blue Line train, to the last stop in Chicago at Austin. This comes after several recent incidents, including a deadly stabbing on the Blue Line at Clark and Lake early Saturday. A 37-year-old man died from his injuries. In October, a woman was also badly burned when she was set on fire on the Blue Line. Then early Sunday on the Red Line, another man stabbed after arguing on a train near the 69th Street stop. The violence interrupters say they're specially trained to de-escalate and deter dangerous situations. Tio Hardiman is the group's founder and executive director.
People start talking crazy, we know how to meet them where they are and not talk crazy back to them, but work it out with them so they don't harm anybody. And I know for a fact we probably could have prevented some of them stabbings from taking place out here on CTA if we were present.
Okay, this group is a not-for-profit, and they do plan to be riding trains weekly, starting about 2 a.m., because most of these violent incidents have come in the early morning hours. They say there is a definite sense of urgency to helping protect CTA riders. In the Loop, Roseanne Taya, Fox Chicago.
Okay, Roseanne, thank you very much. And police have made an arrest in one of the deadly shootings that happened on the CTA. This happened on the Pink Line last month. Police say Pedro Villarreal got into a fight with two women on the train. He had a knife. One of the victims had a gun. At some point, police say Villarreal got a hold of that gun, started shooting. Both of the men, a 23 and 44-year-old, were shot. The older one did not survive. Villarreal is now charged with murder. After 9 days, missing CPS teacher Linda Brown has been found dead. Her family tell us that she was recovered from Lake Michigan Monday evening. Brown had been reported missing back on January 3rd after family members say she missed an acupuncture appointment. They tell us they are extremely grateful for all the support from friends and strangers, but are now asking for privacy, especially for Linda's husband.
He is beside himself. He is just very, very upset. Again, this wasn't the outcome any of us was hoping for, especially Antoine. He really thought that we would bring Linda home.
Family says Linda had been dealing with panic attacks and mental health issues leading up to her disappearance. Her cause of death will be determined by an autopsy.
Illinois is suing the Department of Homeland Security over its immigration enforcement tactics. Lawsuit accuses federal agents of an illegal occupation with claims about the use of biometric data, warrantless arrests, and license plate swapping. Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias says Illinois will not stand for federal agents disregarding laws and compromising public safety.
We have a fundamental responsibility to protect our residents, to uphold the law, and to hold people accountable for their illegal actions. With help from Illinoisans using our Plate Watch hotline, we gathered the evidence that helped form one of the foundations for this lawsuit.
The lawsuit aims to ban ICE and Border Protection from conducting enforcement in Illinois without congressional approval. And the Department of Homeland Security is reacting, with Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin saying in part, it is astounding that the left can miraculously rediscover the 10th Amendment when they don't want federal law enforcement officers to enforce federal law. Minnesota officials filed a similar lawsuit on Monday, and both come just days after an ICE agent shot and killed a woman in Minneapolis. The lawsuit claims DHS is violating the rights of Minnesota and the Twin Cities and targeting them for political reasons. All right, let's turn now to Iran, where the Islamic Republic is easing restrictions on its people for the first time in days.
But it is not clear if this will last. We're checking back in with Brian Jackson with the very latest. Brian?
Iranians are now able to call abroad for the first time since the government halted communications to crack down on nationwide protests. Those demonstrations began about 2 weeks ago. They were initially sparked by severe inflation, but have since evolved into a broader movement against the regime. Reports from activists inside Iran say that more than 600 people have been killed and 10,000 have been detained. President Trump says the U.S. is prepared to act. He is reportedly weighing options ranging from cyber attacks to direct military strikes. Iran has threatened retaliation, but despite this back and forth, both sides appear to be willing to talk.
Iran called to negotiate.
The greatest leverage the regime had just several months ago was their nuclear program, which President Trump and the United States military totally obliterated through Operation Midnight Hammer.
On Monday, the president announced that he is slapping a 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran. That includes Brazil, China, Russia, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates. Back over to you guys.
Thank you, Brian. Top officials from the Chicago Bears appear to be moving forward with plans for a new stadium.
Hours before Saturday's game, Bears President Kevin Warren, Chairman George McCaskey, and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell were seen at the Arlington Heights site. That meeting, there we go, caught on camera by Greg Berger, who was dropping off his son at the Metro stop when he saw those three NFL Titans. Ironically, going to the Bears game at Soldier Field.
I'm like, whoa, that's George McCaskey. That's crazy. Then I spot Kevin Warren, and he's got the orange tie. And I'm like, that's Kevin Warren. He's always sporting the orange tie. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, my jaw totally dropped when I saw Roger Goodell. That's when I was like, what is even happening right now? This is bizarre.
That is quite the sighting there. Sources tell us that Goodell also toured sites in Indiana as lawmakers there work on a potential tax deal to lure the team over state lines.
But no visit to any sites in Chicago.
Yeah.
All right, the NFL has finalized the schedule for the divisional round of the playoffs. The Bears will host the Rams on Sunday. We know what time now, with kickoff at 5:30. The last time the two faced each other in the playoffs was back in 1986 on their way to winning the Super Bowl. So super excited, 5:30, get ready. I cannot wait, Mike Kaplan.
Yeah. That game in '86 was a huge win for the Bears. They won 24-0. Wilbur Marshall, I think, had a fumble recovery for a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. They dominated the Rams, who came in highly touted. They're going to give the Bears a real challenge. So let's hope that we can replay. And remember, the Bears beat the Rams last year. This same Rams team. So let's go get them. Let's just go get it done here.
Optimism.
And it's the weather's not going to be too conducive for Rams players. Let's just leave it at that. All right, let's talk about our weather. We have a definite downturn in temperatures on the way, But today, it's unseasonably mild. But here comes winter. Light snow tomorrow with lake effect for the area, affectionately known as Michiana. Then some occasional snow Thursday night through Saturday. Then very cold on Sunday. At this point, I don't expect snow on Sunday. I think the game will be dry, but boy, is it going to be cold. This morning for the kids, let's give them a medium coat. That ride home, we're going to be in the low 50s here, quickly getting into the mid to upper 40s here by lunchtime. And a lot of us are already close to 40 degrees in the area now. In fact, it is 40 at O'Hare. That looks like the warm spot. 37 Joliet, 35 Woodstock, 36 in Morris. Kankakee, a little colder, 33. In Valparaiso, it's 35. This area right here, that is where lake effect potential is the highest for snowfall late Wednesday into early Thursday. This is what I've got for a high today. I'm going to go 52 degrees. I think everybody's good for a 50, even though our computer model's only showing some 49s here or there. I think we're all going to get 50 today. And then I have exactly 0 more 50s in the forecast coming for.
Okay, but maybe zeros, but 0 more 50s.
0 more 50s.
Okay, thank you. Still ahead, the Pentagon is announcing a new review on women's combat roles. We'll explain when we come back.
Fox 32 News is brought to you by
New this morning, the Pentagon is reportedly ordering a review of women's effectiveness in ground combat roles. According to NPR, the review calls for the Army and Marine Corps to submit data on readiness, training, performance, and casualties, among other things. Before joining the Trump administration, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth had advocated against women serving in combat roles, writing in his own book that they cannot physically meet the same standards as men.
Arizona Senator Mark Kelly is suing the Pentagon over Pete Hegseth's push to demote the Democrat from his retired Navy captain rank. This comes 6 months after Kelly participated in a video urging troops to, quote, refuse illegal orders. Kelly claims that Hegseth's move violates his free speech.
Pete Hegseth's unconstitutional crusade against me sends a chilling message to every retired member of the military. If you speak out and say something that the President and Secretary of Defense doesn't like, you will be censured, threatened with demotion, or even prosecuted.
Kelly was one of 6 Democrats who released a video in November urging service members to defy any orders they deem illegal. All right, 6:14. Time to check back in with Mike Kaplan for a look at how Tuesday is going to play out here. I understand we could be approaching the 50s in most parts of the area.
I think we're going above and beyond 50 degrees today. I think we can get to 52, despite the fact it won't be as sunny as it was. Wasn't it nice yesterday?
It was.
Afternoon was absolutely spectacular. It wasn't that windy. We could get outside and enjoy things. Today, there's a storm system rolling off to our north. You can see a little rain, snow combo platter hitting parts of Wisconsin and Michigan. That is not impacting the Chicago area, other than we do have a little bit of cloud cover from that. We'll switch over here to satellite imagery. You can see, yeah, it is mainly cloudy, but there's also some breaks in the cloud cover. Those will be coming through here. So I think this afternoon we become at least partly sunny. What about precipitation? Yesterday, I told you I wasn't impressed with much around here, and I'm still not. Our model's not showing anything for today. Tomorrow, a little bit of a different story. In fact, late tonight, as a cold front comes through here, there may be a brief snow shower, which could continue tomorrow morning. Not expecting any accumulation with that. Here's where the snow is going to stick. Parts of Porter, LaPorte, and Berrien County likely to get lake effect tomorrow, and especially tomorrow night into early Thursday. And these are areas that may get several inches of snow. On the Illinois side, nope, not going to happen. We have to wait for a system to come in here, and that will be Thursday night into Friday and also Saturday. Take a look at the 7-day forecast. Today, obviously, the warmest day of the bunch, 52. Tomorrow's high, 38. At midnight, during the afternoon, temperatures will be falling through the 20s. Thursday night into Friday and Saturday, it's not going to snow all the time, but I think on the whole, we'll get a little light accumulation here from repeat snow showers. A very cold day for that Bears game. And then on the King holiday, when we're celebrating a Bears victory, in addition to that, 22 degrees under partly cloudy skies. All right, Sky Fox is flying.
Sky Fox is flying. They're taking Cicero Avenue over to 355 because we have a new report of a crash, and hopefully we can catch up with them here at the end of our report to see if we can get an eye on this. But at Butterfield Road on the northbound side at 355, it's blocking the right shoulder. Also, the vehicle went over into the right ditch, and it actually pushed down a sign too. So there's quite a bit of cleanup that's going to have to happen with this. But I also want to take you over to North Barrington area. It's Route 59 and Miller Road. There's a crash reported at this intersection. You can see it's pretty active. This is a picture courtesy of Lake County Passage. You can see the ambulances there, the two vehicles that are involved, and they're trying to slowly let traffic around this area. So keep that in mind. Another look with Sky Fox. Doesn't look like they're quite yet at 355 northbound at Butterfield Road. I'll give you another look at this here in my next report. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Gabby. President Trump has a strategy session with top military leaders today at the White House to talk about options when it comes to Iran.
And as Douglas Zader reports from Washington, protests in that country continue as the death toll rises.
Iran's government has tried for weeks now to quell the growing protest movement fueled by economic unrest. The heavy-handed response has reportedly killed hundreds.
Airstrikes would be one of the many, many options that are on the table for the commander-in-chief.
At the White House today, they're talking about options, with the president sitting down with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Pentagon brass. But don't expect a public declaration.
And so what President Trump will do next, only he knows, so the world will have to keep waiting and guessing.
The U.S. government has a clear warning for any citizens in Iran. Leave Iran now. Have a plan for departing Iran that does not rely on U.S. government help. And yesterday, the president announced a new 25% tariff on countries that trade with Iran. The Iranian regime has been here before, but this could be a tipping point.
You're looking at a doomed regime. It's just a question of whether change occurs because the regime decides it must change itself to survive, or the people change it, or change occurs because of U.S. military action.
But if the U.S. intervenes, the president may have a tough time selling it to many of his supporters who reject foreign entanglements.
The more isolationist MAGA base is going to need to be really pulled along to help them understand why the U.S. is getting involved in this way in the Middle East.
All right, looping Doug in now before we explore kind of all the entanglements that the U.S. is dealing with right now. Let's focus in on Iran itself and the effect that the president is hoping that these new tariffs will have on Iran, that he plans on imposing, I guess, on any country that engages in commerce with Iran.
Yeah, and you're looking at countries like, Russia, China, Brazil, that do trade with Iran. So this does, help increase the pressure on the Iranian regime as far as the economy is concerned. It's a longer-term thing. I mean, it takes a while for these things to really have an impact. It's not immediate like a military strike would be, but we know that years of sanctions have certainly taken their toll on the Iranian economy, and that's created a lot of pressure there. I mean, that's really what drove a lot of these people to the streets, this runaway inflation from an economy that's just teetering there in Iran.
Yesterday, we reported, Doug, that Iran was willing to sit down with the Trump administration or the United States and discuss options. Has that gone anywhere else?
Only in the sense that there are talks about talks. So apparently there is this effort to get both sides together at some point to see what can be resolved. But at the same time, these protests are playing out, and it's clear that Iran has crossed the primary red line that the president has talked about, which would be killing protesters. So one would think there would have to be some U.S. reaction here. Now, is this just going to be confined to these additional economic pressures, or will we see something of a, precision strikes by the military, for instance? We don't know what the president is planning.
We are in tense territory indeed. Doug Luzader, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, 6:20 back here in Chicago. And Saturday's Bears game was evident. I wasn't there. It was evidently so loud at Soldier Field. Some say you could feel it. And guess what? There may be some science behind that claim. We're going to explore that just ahead.
Driving costs.
Welcome back to Good Day Chicago. In LaGrange, the village is debating whether to demolish an historic antique mall there. The proposal would replace the space on the corner of East Burlington and 6th Avenue with a condominium. Some residents say the proposal disregards the historical significance of the building.
Jackson Storage has lived many lives and has many lives to live yet. If the antique mall is kaput, that's a shame, but okay. It's the historic structure we must preserve. It's a rare gem, and we can use it, repurpose it, convert it.
Currently, more than 70 small business owners operate within that building. And the future of a longstanding blacksmith shop in Geneva also up in the air. The building on East State and North Bennett Street dates back to the 1840s. Proposals include replacing it with an apartment and commercial complex. The Geneva Historic Preservation Commission unanimously has voted to deny the developer's request. But City Council could overturn that decision.
The Kane County Board will decide today whether it's time to redefine the rules for short-term rental properties on sites and platforms like VRBO and Airbnb. Board members say the vote is not meant to block what has become common practice, but just to ensure safety and to lessen the strain on wells and septic systems in unincorporated areas.
This party's going on too long, it's going too late, the street's blocked with cars, there are people coming and going at all hours of the night, just, crazy things going on.
Regulations that are under consideration right now include home inspections prior to any rentals, 2 guests per bedroom with a maximum of 16 guests per property, no more than 12 rental contracts per year, and a licensing fee of $200.
The NCAA Football National Championship is next Monday in Miami when Anthony's Indiana takes on Miami. Ticket prices for the game are soaring. The cheapest tickets available on the secondary market before Friday was about $2,800, and then Friday evening after the game, prices soared to $3,800. This will be the first time in the NCAA since 1995 that a team will play the national championship game on its home field.
And, Miami might be on their home field, but I will tell you, at the Peach Bowl, even though we were all the way in Atlanta, it was an Indiana home game. I would say 99% of the crowd was wearing red. So we'll see if that's the case in Miami. That's going to be a tough thing to replicate.
It would, but at the same time, who doesn't want to go to Miami this time
I know,
of year, right?
exactly. We Hoosiers travel in hordes. All right, Saturday's Bears game, meantime, against the Packers. Get this, it was so loud. Some say you could actually feel it.
And they're not imagining it. This is actually a real thing. Kevin Butler, we spoke to him. He's an engineer with Henson Engineers. They help design professional sports facilities. He tells us there is actually science behind why some stadiums are louder than others, including here, how tall is the facility, how close are the fans, where are the speakers in the stadium, and how many people are inside. And sometimes the fans can indeed impact the game.
When people see a stadium shake, should they have to worry about their safety?
There's nothing to be concerned about from a safety standpoint. Buildings are designed so that they're not completely rigid. They have some flex to help them move and dissipate vibration. So no reason to be concerned. It's definitely more of something to be celebrated. It's showcasing the fans' energy and definitely makes for a memorable moment.
There have been times where it is so loud it can actually cause seismic activity. Beastquake in 2011 in Seattle is one example. I'll have to Google that one. Another is Taylor Swift's Era Tour concert in 2023.
I remember reporting on that. Mike, I also love that interviewee's name was Kevin Butler. Did you notice that?
He looks good for a former kicker of the Bears.
Exactly.
Yeah. Brett talked to him about his name, and I get that all the time. All right, we have very cold weather on the way for the Rams-Bears game on Sunday night, but today it's all about unseasonable warmth. 50s in the forecast coming up.
We have hot water.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Good morning, everybody. We got some exciting news from the weather department and the experts therein. 50s today.
Yes.
For our Tuesday, as we approach mid-January. This is kind of a nice little bonus, Mike.
This is the 10th day in a row with above average temperatures. I think tomorrow technically will be the 11th. All right, there's quite a bit of cloud cover out there right now. The clouds at night, other than being bad for astronomy efforts, good news for temperatures. They hold temps up. And you can see this little spinner here. That's an area of low pressure. It's been producing some light rain and snow across parts of Wisconsin and Michigan. Nothing around here. And you can see some drying that's going to be taking place. Skies are clearing right behind here, and that will move into our area later today. So I'm going to forecast partly sunny skies here later on with a high of 52. Will be a little bit breezy out there. Southwesterlies at about 12 to 24 miles per hour. But then cold air comes in. Will there be any snow? Short answer is yes. I'll tell you when and how much in a little bit. But right now, Skyfox has been able to fly this morning. Gabriella, what are we tracking right now?
You know, Mike, and we're still going to be checking on that 355 northbound at Butterfield Road crash that was reported. It was over on the right shoulder, went into the right ditch. Just one vehicle and hit a sign, unfortunately, and that sign is down as well. But it doesn't look like they're quite there just yet. We had to stop near the Ike and see if there was a crash that was reported, ended up being unfounded. But I'm still taking you back to an updated picture courtesy of Lake County Passage over in North Barrington area. This is Barrington Road, Route 59 and Miller Road. Route 59 is going to be closed both northbound and southbound in this area now because there's multiple vehicles apparently involved in this crash. Plus we saw a couple ambulances on scene as well. So keep this in mind if you are heading around that northern Lake County area. Let's talk about your drive times if you're going into the city right now. 30 minutes on the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown. I'm going to call it the same going outbound towards the airport because we are seeing a little bit of heaviness just after the junction there, and as well as you get close to that long 190 ramp. 30 minutes as well on the Eisenhower, 35 minutes on the Stevenson, and let's call it 30 minutes on the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Burn interchange. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Gabby, thank you. Several violent attacks on the CTA of late have violence interrupters stepping up to help keep passengers safe.
Roseanne Tejas is live with the latest on their efforts. Roseanne?
Well, group members say their eyes and ears and special training offer an extra layer of safety for CTA passengers who are nervous about all these recent violent incidents. The violence interrupters gathered at State and Lake at 9 o'clock last night, and they boarded a Blue Line train to the last stop in Chicago in Austin. Now, this comes after a deadly stabbing on the Blue Line at Clark and Lake early Saturday. A 37-year-old man died from his injuries. In October, a woman was also badly burned when she was set on fire on the Blue Line. Early Sunday on the Red Line, another man was stabbed after arguing on a train near the 69th Street stop. The violence interrupters say they are specially trained to de-escalate and deter dangerous situations.
It's on the minds and hearts of all Chicagoans that CTA is unsafe. So Violence Interrupters, a non-for-profit organization, has offered its outreach services, its mental health services, its crisis prevention services. So we're asking CTA and the city of Chicago to continue to talk so that we could make this happen as soon as possible.
I mean, yeah, I feel pretty safe on the trains. I've never had any bad experiences myself. My girlfriend has had an experience or two by herself. So, I mean, if there's a group of people that are just trying to look out for everybody else, then I guess I don't see a problem with that.
Right. That man was unfamiliar with the violence interrupters, but liked the idea of that. They plan to ride CTA trains weekly, taking that 2 a.m. shift, the time when most of those violent incidents have occurred. In the Loop this morning, Roseanne Tejas, Fox Chicago.
Roseanne, thank you. And police just made an arrest in a deadly shooting on the CTA. This one happened on the Pink Line last month. Police say Pedro Villarreal got into a fight with two men on the train. He had a knife. One of the victims had a gun. At some point, police say Villarreal got a hold of the gun and started shooting. Both of the men, the 23 and 44-year-old, were shot. The older one did not survive. Villarreal is now charged with murder. After 9 days, missing CPS teacher Linda Brown has been found dead. Her family tell us that she was recovered from Lake Michigan on Monday evening. Brown had been reported missing on January 3rd after family members say she missed an acupuncture appointment. They tell us they are extremely grateful for all the support from both friends and strangers, but are now asking for privacy, especially for Linda's husband.
He is beside himself. He is just very, very upset. Again, this wasn't the outcome any of us was hoping for, especially Antoine. He really thought that we would bring Linda home.
The family says Linda had been dealing with panic attacks and mental health issues leading up to her disappearance. Her cause of death will be determined by an autopsy.
Illinois is suing the Department of Homeland Security over its immigration enforcement tactics. The lawsuit accuses federal agents of an illegal occupation with claims about the use of biometric data, warrantless arrests, and license plate swapping. Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias says Illinois will not stand for federal agents disregarding laws and compromising public safety.
We have a fundamental responsibility to protect our residents, to uphold the law, and to hold people accountable for their illegal actions. With help from Illinoisans using our Plate Watch hotline, we gathered the evidence that helped form one of the foundations for this lawsuit.
The lawsuit aims to ban ICE and Border Protection from conducting enforcement in Illinois without congressional approval. And the Department of Homeland Security is reacting, with Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin saying in part, it is astounding that the left can miraculously rediscover the 10th Amendment when they don't want federal law enforcement officers to enforce federal law. Minnesota officials filed a similar lawsuit on Monday, and both come just days after an ICE agent shot and killed a woman in Minneapolis. The lawsuit claims DHS is violating the rights of Minnesota and the Twin Cities and targeting them for political reasons. Turning now to Iran, where the Islamic Republic is actually easing restrictions on its people for the first time in days.
But it is not clear at this point if this will last. Brian Jackson is here with the very latest. Brian?
Iranians are able to call abroad for the first time since the government halted communications during a crackdown on nationwide protests. Those demonstrations began about 2 weeks ago. They were initially sparked by severe inflation, but have since evolved into a broader movement against the regime. Reports from activists inside of Iran say that more than 600 people have been killed and 10,000 have been detained. President Trump says the U.S. is prepared to act. He reportedly is weighing options ranging from cyber attacks to direct military strikes. Iran has threatened retaliation, but both sides appear to be willing to talk.
Iran called to negotiate.
The greatest leverage the regime had just several months ago was their nuclear program, which President Trump and the United States military totally obliterated through Operation Midnight Hammer.
On Monday, the president announced that he is slapping a 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran. That includes Brazil, China, Russia, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates. Natalie?
All right, thank you, Brian. Top officials from the Chicago Bears appear to be moving forward with plans for a new stadium.
Hours before Saturday's game, Bears President Kevin Warren, Chairman George McCaskey, and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, they were all seen scoping out that Arlington Heights site. That meeting was caught on camera by a bystander named Greg Berger, who was just right there dropping off his son at the Metro stop. Ironically, Greg and his son were on the way to the Bears game at Soldier Field.
I'm like, whoa, that's George McCaskey. That's crazy. Then I spot Kevin Warren, and he's got the orange tie, and I'm like, that's Kevin Warren. He's always sporting the orange tie. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, my jaw totally dropped when I saw Roger Goodell. That's when I was like, what is even happening right now? This is bizarre.
All right, sources tell us that Goodell also toured sites in Indiana as lawmakers there work on a potential tax deal to lure the team over state lines.
And the NFL has finalized the schedule for the divisional round of the playoffs. The Bears will host the Rams on Sunday with kickoff at 5:30. The last time the two faced each other in the playoffs all the way back in 1986 on their way to winning the Super Bowl.
You guys are going to have to kind of send me good vibes because I'm going to have this Bears game 5:30, and then Monday is when the national championship happens between IU and Miami. It's gonna be a interesting 24 hours.
Are you even coming into work at all next week? What is the plan here, Anthony?
Just send good vibes. That's all I ask.
Oh man. Well, look. Hopefully, when we're all here on Monday morning, we're gonna have big smiles on our face because of the Bears victory, and then we'll give Anthony a pass if he wants to stay up late and watch the Monday night game.
That's all I ask.
Exactly. All right. Well, we know it's going to be really cold here Sunday night. Rams. A buddy of mine sent me some interesting factoids about Matthew Stafford playing in cold air and snow. Not that good. Not that good. So, we've heard a lot, even Ben Johnson talking about the toughness, blah, 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 blah. He doesn't like it when it's cold out, and it will be cold. Today, not so much. It's 40 already at O'Hare, 39 at Midway, Gary, 36 Michigan City, Woodstock, 37 degrees, likewise in Grundy County. Skies are mainly cloudy. That has helped hold temperatures up. In fact, now, compared with 6 a.m. yesterday, 12 degrees warmer at O'Hare, 10 degrees warmer at Waukegan and Valparaiso. So we have a warmer start. I think it is going to be a warmer finish today. What about cloud cover? We have quite a bit out there now. I think we'll at least break up the clouds and get a decent amount of afternoon sun. Probably not as much as we saw yesterday. But despite that, it's going to be several degrees warmer this afternoon. Then we get the cold front. That's coming through here late tonight. Whatever the temperature is at midnight is going to be the high for the day tomorrow. Very little snow on the Illinois side. But from, I think, northeast Porter County through LaPorte and Berrien County, that's where you're going to be getting that lake effect snow, especially tomorrow evening into Thursday. And some of that snow could be impactful. On the Chicago side, not much happening through Wednesday. I'll give you a look at the 7-day in just a little bit. 6:42. We're coming back after this quick break.
Fox 32 News is
After more than a week of searching, the body of a missing CPS teacher has been found.
It's so sad to report the body of 53-year-old Linda Brown found in Lake Michigan on Monday evening. This was found right near 31st and Harbor. Now, the cause of Brown's death not yet known. That's going to be determined by an autopsy.
Illinois is suing the Department of Homeland Security over its immigration enforcement tactics. The lawsuit accuses federal agents of an illegal occupation with claims about the use of biometrics data, warrantless arrests, and license plate swapping. DHS says federal law enforcement officers are enforcing federal law.
The NFL has finalized the schedule for the divisional round of the playoffs. The Bears will host the Rams on Sunday with kickoff at 5:30. Now, the last time these two teams faced one another in the playoffs, way back in 1986, the Bears were on their way to winning Super Bowl 20 that year.
New this morning, the Pentagon is reportedly ordering a review of women's effectiveness in ground combat roles. According to NPR, the review calls for the Army and Marine Corps to submit data on readiness, training, performance, and casualties, among other things. Before joining the Trump administration, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth had advocated against women serving in combat roles, writing in his book that they cannot physically meet the same standards as men.
Arizona Senator Mark Kelly is suing the Pentagon over Pete Hegseth's push to demote the Democrat from his retired Navy captain rank. This comes after Kelly participated in a video urging troops to, quote, refuse illegal orders. Kelly claims that Hegseth's move violates his free speech.
Pete Hegseth's unconstitutional crusade against me sends a chilling message to every retired member of the military. If you speak out and say something that the President and Secretary of Defense doesn't like, you will be censured, threatened with demotion, or even prosecuted.
Kelly was one of 6 Democrats who released a video in November urging service members to defy any orders that they deem illegal.
A bipartisan group of lawmakers will head to Copenhagen later this week. The delegation of 9 congressional leaders will be led by Democratic Senator Chris Coons. They say their goal is to show unity between the U.S. and Denmark as President Trump continues to threaten to seize Greenland.
Today, the Supreme Court is hearing arguments over state laws banning transgender girls and women from playing in school sports. Justices are evaluating claims of sex discrimination lodged by transgender people versus the need for fair competition for women and girls.
6:47 now, and we want to turn it back over to Mike Kaplan, who's checking the forecast for you. And Mike,
yes,
we just keep warming on up.
Yeah, you know, yesterday made it into the low to mid 40s. It was beautifully sunny in the afternoon. Today should be even warmer. But we're going to focus right now on a little something going on at Soldier Field on Sunday night. And it is going to be wintry here for sure. 16 degrees at kickoff time at 5:30. Burr, definitely. Halftime, 13 degrees. And by then, the wind chill is going to be very close to 0. And the final, even colder for the Rams. It'll be 11 degrees here, but they're going to feel it much worse than we will. We have mostly cloudy skies currently, with any precipitation staying way to the north of us. We have a little weak trough of low pressure. It'll bring some cloud cover to the area. Then a cold front. That is going to nose in here late tonight and knock temperatures down. Tomorrow, falling temperatures throughout the day. And there can be a brief snow shower with the front. But the main snow is going to be lake effect, and that will be targeting parts of northwest Indiana and southwest Michigan. I think most of it will be LaPorte and Berrien County. But you might get clipped in northeast Porter County as well. On the Illinois side, nah, not going to happen. But there is still snow on the way, and it is a system that'll linger for a couple of days and bring us intermittent snow, I think, from Thursday night into Saturday. Today, 52 southwest winds at 12 to 24. Tonight, we'll drop it down to 28 degrees eventually, maybe a brief snow shower. No big deal with that. 7-day, 38. That happens at midnight tomorrow. A colder day Thursday. Here comes the snow starting Thursday night, then off and on Friday and Saturday. And look at that high of only 18 degrees on Sunday. For the King holiday, up to 22. Gabriella, we have any slowdowns out there yet?
You know, Mike, we're on 355. We just passed that crash that was reported on 355 northbound at Butterfield Road. That has cleared. It was over on the right shoulder. It did take down the sign, but it was in process of getting on the tow truck, so that should be out of the way for drivers. It was really just slowing people down because they saw the flashing lights. It really wasn't impacting traffic at all. But yeah, you know, it gets pretty crowded on the northbound side at 355 now because a lot of people are living in this area and heading into their morning commute. Let's talk about another crash center system. Northbound I-55 at US 6 was just before I-80. We have a crash reported involving 3 vehicles. You can see a little bit of stop and go as you approach this area. I don't see them closing more than 2 lanes. Right now, it looks like just 1 right lane is closed. Let's take a look at our drive times as we hit here closer to 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, excuse me. 35 minutes on the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown, 35 minutes on the Eisenhower, closer to 40 minutes on the Stevenson from 355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Remember, that doesn't include that crash closer to I-80. It's after 355 where the calculations are done. And 30 minutes on the Dan Ryan from 95th to downtown. Of course, we have about a 5-minute delay on I-57 and the Bishop Ford as you approach 95th. Natalie.
Thank you, Gabby. In the suburb of LaGrange, the village is debating whether to demolish an historic antique mall. The proposal would replace the space on the corner of East Burlington and 6th Avenue with a condominium. Some residents say the proposal disregards the historical significance of the building.
Jackson Storage has lived many lives and has many lives to live yet. If the antique mall is kaput, that's a shame, but okay. It's the historic structure we must preserve. It's a rare gem, and we can use it, repurpose it, convert it.
Currently, more than 70 small business owners operate within the building.
The Kane County Board will decide today whether it is time to redefine the rules for short-term rental properties on platforms like VRBO and Airbnb. Board members say the vote is not meant to block what has become a common practice, but to ensure safety and to lessen the strain on wells and lessen the strain on septic systems in the unincorporated areas.
This party's going on too long. It's going too late. The streets blocked with cars. There are people coming and going at all hours of the night. Just, crazy things going on.
Regulations under consideration include home inspections prior to any rentals, 2 guests per bedroom with a maximum of 16 guests on a single property, no more than 12 rental contracts per year, and a licensing fee of $200.
The NCAA Football National Championship is next Monday in Miami when Indiana takes on Miami. Ticket prices for the game are soaring. The cheapest tickets available on the secondary market before Friday, $2,800, and then Friday evening soaring to $3,800. This will be the first time in the NCAA since 1995 that a team will play the national championship game on its home field.
An update to a story we first brought to you yesterday. This comes from ESPN, reporting that the Packers are expected to work out a deal to keep Matt LaFleur as their head coach. LaFleur has been in Green Bay since 2019. He's made the playoffs in 6 of 7 seasons. Pretty good track record on that front. But the last 2 years in the postseason, one and done. So if a deal is not reached, LaFleur would enter the final year of his contract next season. That would be a lame duck situation that the new Packers president has said he would prefer to avoid.
Range. They want to get 7. They can use the clock. Williams throwing, and it's caught for the touchdown by DJ Moore.
I mean, you could hear the crowd's tone just took an even deeper, more intense sound and feel, evidently, right when that touchdown was scored. Saturday's Bears game was so loud, you could actually feel it. Feel Soldier Field shaking.
So the question is that normal? Is it dangerous? Fox Chicago's Brett Bagansky shows you how you, the fan, can actually impact the game inside the stadium, even on the Richter scale.
Saturday was memorable for a few reasons. Bears won their first playoff game since 2011, beat the Green Bay Packers, knocked them out of the playoffs, take the rubber match in that series and the playoffs.
The best Soldier Field crowd I've heard in my 4 years.
It wasn't just loud, it felt different.
I've done 31 games in the stadium. It's the first time I feel it shaking like this.
I felt it under my feet first, and it's like this rumble of like what's going on here, and then you felt it on where your computer sits.
You could definitely feel it in the stands. I've never felt Soldier Field that explode with that.
I called the Bears about the decibel level. I'm still waiting to hear back.
There's been multiple instances where sounds been recorded during sporting events that's in excess of 120 decibels.
North of 120 decibels, how would you describe that feeling?
You feel like you're at a rock concert, and at times, some people even describe it as being close to a jet engine.
I talked to Kevin Butler.
Not
That Kevin Butler.
I've heard that a few times, yes.
Kevin Butler, the engineer.
And an acoustical consultant within our venue sector at Henderson Engineers.
People were describing it being so loud that the stadium was shaking.
Yes, that has happened before. Sound is a pressure wave which can cause materials to vibrate. So when you get 60,000 plus fans yelling, cheering, stomping, jumping around, that can add a lot of energy into the stadium and into the structure and cause vibration and feel that sensation.
When people see a stadium shake, should they have to worry about their safety?
There's nothing to be concerned about from a safety standpoint. Buildings are designed so that they're not completely rigid. They have some flex to help them move and dissipate vibration.
It's been so loud, they've even caused seismic activity. The famous Seattle Seahawks game in 2011, now known as the Beastquake, and Taylor Swift's concert in 2023, both happen to be in the same venue. One geologist talked about why they stand out.
And with the original Beastquake, it was obvious it was the crowd. But in a concert, there's subwoofers, right? There are, the amazing sound system that is putting the beat into the ground. And of course, there's 70,000+ people, many of whom are actually on the field dancing.
There wasn't any seismic activity for Bears-Packers Saturday, but could that change Sunday? Brett Pagansky, Fox Chicago.
That's a good question he posed at the end. It's going to be rocking.
Yes.
Again.
I have been to, though, a Coldplay concert at Soldier Field and felt the vibrations. I mean, I'm sure it was nothing like the Bears game on Saturday. I'm not trying to say that it was, but, I get it. I get it.
Did any marriages end that night?
No. Thanks for reminding me of that,
indeed.
though, Anthony, for all of us. Plenty more Good Day Chicago ahead. Keep it right here.
The groundbreaking survival competition.
Good Day Chicago at 7 starts now.
And right now at 7 o'clock, a new push to